Hey folks, welcome to Pawpaw John's Homestead channel. Well, behind me here, these blooms, these are my early blueberries. They bloom out early every year, and I had to put a little water on them here a few days ago because of a frost, but they're holding on. But the reason I'm here today is right behind me here, you'll see in that bucket on that tractor, there's a whole bunch of plants I need to put in the ground. A family member called me the other day and said, hey, I got all these plants that I'm getting ready to pull out of the ground. You want them? Come dig them up and you can have them. So anyway, long story short, I've worked me up some work. So here we go. Folks, you don't have to have all these big tools and all this equipment and stuff to do this. The only thing you really need is a shovel and a little bit of knowledge. If your neighbor calls and says, hey, you want these plants, come dig them up, go dig them up. It's worth your time, I promise you. So what you're doing is you're cutting off all sorts of time, growing time. You don't have to wait quite as long for fruit. I'm going to show you where I'm going to put my blackberries. I'm going to fill this gap in. I'm going to fill this little area in here, and I'm going to use post hole diggers. You can use a shovel. And got another little spot right here. If I have any left over, I'll put them together. And there are the girls. Say hi, girls. Let me tell you, I am so proud. They are starting to lay eggs now. Went nearly the whole winter and didn't have a single egg. Food conspiracies, I don't know, but I did change the feed, and guess what? They started laying. So anything to do with it, who knows? But there they are, fat, sassy, happy. The first thing to put in the ground is blackberries. So I'm gonna get those over there, go ahead and dig the holes, and I'll show you what I'm doing for that. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and dig my holes. I'm gonna put these plants about a foot apart. See this plant? That's what I was telling you about. It's worth your time to do this. This plant here, it'll probably produce this year. I may just strip the fruit off to let the roots grow, and it'll put new canes on for next year. But this plant, it'll mature quicker, and it'll be much bigger than what's in the row there. So, how do you plant them? What? Yeah, root ball can fit in that hole there. This stuff here, you want to get rid of that. Put a little dirt on the hole. And wear old clothes, because you might get a little dirty. All right. Most of them this size, you do want to go ahead and trellis these, just to keep them off the ground. Unless you want new plants, you could lay this on the ground over here, cover it up, and it'll sprout roots and make a new one. There it is. Now the last thing to do on this, I'm going to take this twine over here, and I'm just going to make me a trellis and then tie these up so the wind doesn't pull them out of the ground or break them over. So one last thing on the on blackberries, once you get them in the ground, real simple. Mash the dirt down with your foot, add a little water, and then support them, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna move on to the grapes here in just a minute and give you a shot of the trellis while it's up and show you what I was talking about. I'm gonna show you how to tie this on that post and be able to go back and tighten it up if you need to later on. It's real simple. Right here, I'm gonna go down here and tie the other end. I'm gonna come back and do this knot and I'm gonna show you. Okay. All right, watch. You go around this post. What you're gonna do is you're gonna tie just a little loop right here in this, and you're gonna put this in, pull it back, tighten it, and I'll show you how to tie this. So on this, about this far back, all you gotta do is make a little loop. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. All right, just like that. Just tie it over one time and make your loop. Far enough back, you can get a little pull, so you can go around here like this. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off right here. I got an idea how long I want it. You don't have to cut it off until you get done, but all right, so I'm gonna run this line in here just like so. Now all you have to do is pull that and it gets tight. As tight as you want it. Tight as you want it. Go in here, right here where it crosses over that little loop inside. You can pinch that together with your fingers and it'll hold it long enough for you to tie it. Take this, come under here like this, just like you're tying your shoe. Do that right there. All you have to do to adjust this, if it loosens up, is pull this. And now you can retighten it. Just like so. Hope that's helped y'all out. Just a little trick. Just like a shoelace. And if you want to make sure it doesn't come untied just like your shoes, just make a little knot where you can untie that later and tighten it back up. So on these, the purpose of this is just to hold these, keep them from falling over. I'll go in here. Let's go ahead and add another line or two here. Just this is the line here that you're not using. There it is. Simple as it can be. And it don't have to be pretty to function. It's your trellis, you can do it how you like. Just showing you how I do it. There it is. All of these, I got a couple lines here. I know I can take these here, weave them through. I can come back and actually just tie a little piece here. Just something to hold them up against this trellis. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just weave it in and out. The whole purpose of this is just to keep the wind from tearing it up. Keep them off the ground. Take some of your twine here. Doesn't have to be tight. All you're doing is making a loop to hold it to the trellis. It'll slide back and forth, but it'll hold it up. Cut this off. Just using a square knot, if anybody wants to know what kind of knot that is. And that square knot, you can tie it tight and leave that loop on there just to hold it. Find your piece of bamboo or stick or anything. Just something to put up here. Shove it in the ground. Tie it to your top up here just to hold it, and tie this one tight. It'll slide a little bit, but it won't fall over. Now you can take this, tie this up here, and it'll keep going up straight. I have a tape gun that I use to secure these with, but not everybody has a tape gun, but you can find string or twine. So just wanted to show you that it works. Don't tie them too tight. If you do, your plant will actually girdle. It'll restrict your plant and it'll die. Got all these here in the ground. I had 4 right here, 2 in a spot behind me here, and a couple down at the end. It's just all the plants that I got from my cousin. I got them in the ground. Thank you, cuz. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the grapes. Get the grapes in the ground. Got an idea of where I want to put them, but these things they're already mature enough that I can get an arbor set up, actually get them in the ground and get them staked, and then next year I'll have to have an arbor because they're just going to push so much new growth because of the root system. And that's the advantage of actually transplanting big vines like this. You can take them and trim them up, repair them, and put them in the ground, and you got a head start. It's what you got. I figured out exactly where I want to put these. I hate to sacrifice my garden space, but my soil is already, it's ready. I'm gonna go out here, run a line, go ahead and mark it. When I put this in the ground, I'm gonna run a string from one end to the other, and I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna give it 20 feet for every plant. And that'll allow 10 foot out from each side on your plant to create the arms going out on your arbor. I'm gonna run this up. I'll build an arbor. I'm probably gonna put three runs on this because these grapes here, they're a bunching grape. They're not like a muscadine. Muscadine, 1 or 2 legs will be fine on those, going either way. But anyway, I'm gonna get to marking this. Gotta have a tractor to get posted. So I'm gonna set these off real quick. You can take a look at them as I get them off. I can't tell you what the name of it is, but you see I've already got a good start with them. I'm setting them off. It's windy. I'm gonna get the water in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little water on them to keep the roots moist. It's really windy today. It's not an ideal time to be doing this, but I'm gonna get it done. Opportunities like this don't come along all the time. Here's another small one, believe it or not. Trim this up good. It's got 1 good leaf, and it's gonna do something this year. All right, last one. There's 5, and I'll be right back. Hey folks, if you like the videos and you want to follow along, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you get anything out of it, you like the videos, give it a big old thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. It'll help my channel out a little bit and get me going. Gonna go ahead and dig these holes real quick, pop them in the ground. The video will probably skip right through all the boring stuff, and we'll get to putting these in the ground. I'm gonna have to go ahead and soak these roots here because it's really a windy day. I'm sorry. One thing I didn't cover on these grapes that I'm transplanting today is the hole that, thanks a lot fellas, the hole that I'm digging for these grapes right here, is that hole needs to be a little bigger than that root ball there. And if this soil wasn't amended already, if it wasn't already prepared, what you do is you dig that hole 2 to 3 times that size, get you some topsoil, put it in the ground, mix it in with your dirt, and then plant that in there with it, because you'll provide it with enough loose dirt to let those roots develop and start growing out into that more compacted soil. Anybody that's dug a hole before, it's pretty boring. It ain't much to it. Thanks a lot. It ain't much to it. Put your shovel in the ground and dig it out. I'm gonna go ahead and dig these holes out. We're gonna get them in the ground. So, if it were only this easy, Holes in the ground now. Now we got to put our support post up for these, and I'm going to put these just to the side of the. I'm going to put these just to the side of the holes down here, and go ahead and put them in the ground. And we'll be back in a minute to do the grapes. So that was pretty quick, wasn't it? You're gonna need one of these if you're doing any driving any metal posts in the ground. If you go ahead and invest in one of these on your homestead, you'll need it. You'll use it all the time. Remember I said it was windy? I'm gonna soak these roots really good before I put them in the holes out there. And if you're wondering, I am not trying to wash the dirt off. All I'm trying to do here is just soak the roots for a few minutes before I put them in the hole. While those are in there soaking, we're going to do some trimming on this. On this one, I'm probably going to put 3 legs going out from either side. There's one. And what I'm going to do here is try to trim this side growth off. Trimming this down, it'll also help this plant go ahead and grow. Any side growth that I don't want, trim it off. What I'm left is for legs that I can select to put on the trellis. So this would be 1, this would be 2, and this would be 3. So I've got this side completely hemmed up. If you want this to heal up back to this, don't trim it way down here to the stem. What'll happen is it'll kill the whole stem at that point. I generally leave at least 1 bud on there. Now if this grows out some and you don't want any side growth, then you can trim it off here and it'll feed this rope right here. I use this as my trunk. Now you got to select the 2 for the middle, 2 for the bottom, and now I'm going to select 2 for the top going this way. All this, I don't want this, don't want that, don't want this here. And see, I'm cutting those kind of close, but not all the way to the rope. I'm going to trim this off right here. Now each variety is going to be different. You want to prune it to whatever you're trying to achieve. On this one, it happens to be a bunch grape. So what I want is, I want canes going out that are going to hang on this trellis where the fruit will hang down, and I can get three layers of that relatively easy. On muscadines, I usually only use 1 or 2. And anyway, there's a lot of different methods to do that. I'm just showing you how I'm doing it. But you definitely want to prune all this stuff back that you don't want, so that all the stuff that you do want, it'll have the energy to do as you've trained it. Get rid of these 2 here. And I'll run these 2 up to my top line, and that'll be my top legs. That's what I did to this one. I'll prune those up a little bit. You don't have to see all that, but I'm gonna clean those up. I just sit them out here and trim them up as I put them in the hole. But we're gonna take this like this. We're gonna do a little movie magic like all these other folks do. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna throw it like this. Okay, that there might be a good candidate later on, so I'm gonna save that one. This may be a good candidate. I'm gonna keep this one. Keep that as an alternate. That's a good candidate right there. This is dead wood right here, some dead wood. All right, got them all pruned up, ready to go. Got a lot of the dead wood out, got it back to what I'm looking for, and what I can work with. So here we go. Got another one ready. We're gonna do the same thing. So we're getting in the short rows now. Just have 2 left. trim up some of this dead wood that's on it. This will take a little work, but with the root system, that'll be a fine plant in about 2 years. It'll look like those. See, all that's there is dead. That whole leg will probably go, but I'll wait one more year. That one's all ready to go, and this one's all ready to go. Great thing is you can pull those risings out of there if you don't want that grass going. Let's see. I see something wrong right here. You see that? That right there was left on, and that will girdle that plant, and it'll make it not ever produce. It'll actually kill it. If you dig one up or you put one in the ground, remember, put those tags where you can remove them, because see how tight that is? It won't break very easy. And if you look under that tag there, you can see how it's girdled that plant a little bit. Now it can grow. All right, so we're gonna do 2 this time. It's not hard work, just got to get out there and do it. Got all these in the ground. These limbs need to be above the ground. You don't want to bury your limbs unless you want more roots down there. So got everything tied together, temporary. There, I got some cabbage still growing. This one here is another big one. And then those 2 small ones down there. I'll leave it at that. Folks, I really appreciate it. Until next time, I'll see you then.